Can you see that? Sorry. Let's see. Yeah, I thought it would stream. I actually didn't get back to this until now. We have our idea debug, and we are actually passing user stories in here. So I'm just gonna evaluate. Oh, look at this plan. That's old stuff. We're gonna evaluate the different states. So we're gonna have flows, and these flows are gonna be running in the back or have their state regardless of what flow we're looking at. So it doesn't rebuild the state of the flow when you move the tabs. It's gonna keep the state. So we're just gonna say maybe we should, yeah. So this is type. Oh, where did I go now? Workspace. So this will be K in key of flow. In key of flows type. And then flows. Did I call it flows? No, I call it flow. And this is gonna be, yeah, it's basically gonna be the flow and type K. So here we, oh, sorry, not key of, but in. So we have debug here, and it's gonna be type debug, of course. There's no errors. It's loading preview, true. And then we're gonna have our user stories, type user stories is approved. Yes, we actually need to build these. Let's see. Those flows equals this create flows. What I'm a little bit curious about, like we need to reference these flows, but we want to pass them to, so this should really be, this is annoying. So the actual workspace state should reference the current flow where we keep the state of them here. But when we pass it to the client, it should be the actual current flow. Maybe we can get away with this. Instead of calling it state, you know what? I'm gonna say the top level. Yeah. We're gonna call this flow. Private get flow. And we're just gonna return. So we're gonna flow, and then we're gonna have current flow is flow type. And we start with debug. And when we try to get a flow, we're gonna say this flows this dot current flow. Yeah, and then we're not gonna have this state thing. But we are gonna private set flow. And when we set a flow, it's kind of interesting. We can do type would be flow type. You can actually type the setter different than get flow should be flow. You can type setters and getters differently. That's kind of cool. So when we set a flow, that's when we send the workspace state. And we say, oops, this.flow. So we need to change the like send workspace state. And we just change the typing to flow. I think that's fine. And then we need the create flows. Create flows, and we need, currently we just need user stories string. So return, so this would be, oh my god, this needs to be the sorry, flow type, flow and type. Okay, so debug would be type debug. Debug errors nothing, is loading preview true, and then our user stories type user stories, and is approved would be, this can be null, boolean user stories, and then user stories is user stories, or I guess this can also be null, right? Yeah, so I guess we don't need is approved. We can just, like, if there are, it's approved if we have user stories there. And if there aren't any user stories there, it means that we are generating the user stories. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Where's the flow? Flow. At least let's try that first. Or no. Oh, fuck. No, sorry. So, yeah. So what we're gonna do is say this flows, sorry, debug. Yeah, this is nice. I like this. So why do I call it flow? It should be like current flow. Yeah, and then like current flow type. This is like an internal thing. Yeah, that's it. So this current flow. Cool. And then this dot flows debug equals this dot flows debug is loading preview false. Oh my god, it's like it's really coming to a halt. I wonder if it's because I'm streaming. You know what? I also see when I stream, when I'm like scrolling Excalibur, it actually it's lagging. So I'm wondering if my computer is actually, I have an M1 mini. It could be as simple as that. Close others. Okay, so we're gonna change the typing of that. Is that all we need to do now? Yeah, and we need to pass user stories there. Oh, params, user stories, and then send workspace state. And we're gonna remove this. And we're gonna remove it here. And we are gonna say get workspace. Oh, sorry. Electron API. So this is gonna be flow instead. And this is gonna be flow. And we'll get workspace state. Why is that failing? Oh, current flow. Cool. And then way back here, we have a workspace with a workspace store. Yeah, and then state. Yeah, so this is definitely wrong. Workspace store. So this should also be flow. It's so incredibly laggy. I don't like this. Do not like it. So our workspace. So we can change this workspace store. We're gonna say instead of flow, we're gonna say flow. I'm gonna call this flow. And in our workspace, we're gonna have flow. I'm gonna remove that. And then we have, oops, debug store initial flow state. Great, we're happy about that. Our debug flow. Oh, so yeah, sorry. So we shouldn't, god damn it. I did a mistake. So we need all the flow states, of course. Dag nugget. I made a mistake. So we need yeah, so we need both the god damn it. So workspace state, we still need workspace state, and it should be flows, and that would be k in flow type flow and type k, and then we need current flow, which is flow type. So that's what we need. We need the full state of all the flows. So that way, even if you're like looking at a certain tab, we can still like change the other tabs and kind of give information. And I have to refactor all of this now. So I think we should still have, yeah, no. So we need to remove, we should still have state. Do I have to do all of this again? Well, I think I can save this. Let's keep this. So what we really want here is private state, which is workspace state. That should be the same, but we're going to create that state. And then we don't need, and then we have get state, this dot state. And then we have private set state, new state. Let's work. That's just gonna work. And then we're gonna say this state equals new state, and we're gonna send that new state. Oh my god, Christian. Yeah, we're gonna fix that typing, and then we're not gonna do this, and we're rather going to say create initial state, and we're gonna say this state equals create initial state. And then we're gonna call this create initial state, and we're gonna return not this, but actual workspace state. That workspace state is going to be current flow, is going to be debug, and then flows are going to be this object. Cool. And we need to pass user stories. Params. Cool. So that would be this state. So the problem here now is that I think we can do like a getter. Still, private current flow, that will be a getter. That will be this dot state dot flows, this dot state dot current flow. So that we can still use that here. Current flow. And then we would say flows, this state flows. And then this dot current flow dot type. Oh my god, this state flows. No, wait a minute. Yeah, this dot current flow. And then this loading preview true. That way, and then current flow type. Flows is this flows, and then this dot current flow dot type would be this dot current flow and is loading preview. Boop. Cool. And then we're gonna put back the workspace state. No flow here. Like so, and also in the preload. Then I have workspace state. Oh my god. Look at this, it's super slow. Maybe it's all the typing I have. I'm gonna restart the whole freaking extension host. Cool. And now we have I think it's the streaming causing this. Interesting. Do I have like an activity monitor here? Oh. Ecamm. You're using a lot of CPU. Yeah, maybe this is an excuse to... I did try buying the M2, was it? MacBook Air. I have an M1 Mini and M1 Air. And I haven't really been in a situation where I need to replace them because they're epic fast. But yeah, now I'm certainly getting into issues. But I guess I have to wait. I heard Apple is putting out M4s by the end of the year. I'm not sure if Mini is the first one. But yeah. Anyways, let's put back state. State. Oh my god. I'm gonna stop complaining, by the way. So this will be state. State flow would be state.flows, state.current flow. And now we have all our flows and we have the current flow in the client. Fantastic. Let's start it again. Maybe I could close some other. Sorry, I just can't stop thinking about this. Do we have anything else kind of taking continuity? Wow, my continuity camera, 20% CPU. That is very interesting. Code helper. Yeah, I don't know. Let's stop that one. Let's open it up. Oh, what did I do? Probably something I forgot. Send workspace, reading send workspace state of undefined. Workspace. Oh, I know what it is. I've done this before. We need to set the Electron API before we set the state. Maybe we should just put it down here. There we go. Oh. Now we... Damn it. But... Oh, interesting. So there's definitely some random shit happening here. Oh, interesting. I can even interact with it. So that means like in the embedder. So I've been debugging this issue where it just freezes and I'm not sure why it happens. So I thought it was for some reason a cold JSON, but it's not. But funny enough, it doesn't get past this one. So it's almost like OpenAI is the reason. I'm gonna double check to see. Two. Just to ensure that it's the actual create completions call that's causing it. I wonder why though. It's just an HTTP request. Okay, great. So we have our debug. We should now implement the ability to click idea. Since we have our user stories stored, we should see the user stories or create a UI for them. And then we're going to create a button, create the implementation plan, and we're going to introduce a new flow for creating implementation plan. And then we're going to activate that flow and we're going to play around with some agents to create an implementation plan. So that's going to be fun. But let's first close this. What did I say? Yeah, make it clickable. So first we need in the Electron API, we need ability to actually change flow. So let's send, I guess we could just do change flow. And that would be, I guess you just send the type. I guess we can use flow here. Type, and then we're gonna send a message of change flow, and that would be type. So we need change flow to be an API message. Workspace requests change flow. Great. And then, oh wait, sorry. So this will be on change flow. My bad. This is on the Electron side. So let's just copy that thing. type here, which would be flow type. Oh, sorry. Of course we don't send. Oh, my bad. So this would be type, flow type, void type. Oh, there's no action ID. So we can remove that. No action ID. Cool. And then, so we have on change flow, and then we're going to implement the actual call from the client, which would be change flow. And then we have the type of flow. Oh, that was slow. Type. And this is kind of annoying because I can't really just restart the stream either. I think I might need to restart. But anyways, we're going to keep at it. Then we're going to send the type. And then we're going to implement in our amazing, where are our amazing sidebar? We're going to do an on-click. So I guess we can make an array out of this now. So, and we can also use the actual flow type. You know what, I'm lazy. So we're gonna do editor store, on click, editor, API, change flow, user stories. And then we're probably gonna do this more better. Oh, better later. And then this will be debug. And then we need an actual on click here. On click. On click would be void. And then on click is on click. That's our tabs. And then we need the active one. So active. Yeah, exactly. That's fine. So now we need to handle the actual click in Electron. We can do that on the workspace. So we already have some things here. Let's just this disposer. This Electron API on change flow. We get our type. Then we can say this. How did I do that? Yeah, I kind of need to change the state, of course. So this state, this dot state, current flow will be type. And that will emit, this will already emit a new state to the client, and yeah, everything should be fine. So I think really we should be able to click the thingies now. Let's try it, because then we basically have UI work to do. It didn't work. No, wait, it crashed again. God damn it. Yeah, you see this? We get the first but then for some reason, calling this makes it stop. I wonder if we when do we do this? Oh, wait a minute. I think what we want to do is this does queue add. I have this queue because there's a lot of stuff going on. So I think we can, can you return something from this queue? Can't remember. Embedder. No. I didn't allow you to. Maybe we should just allow that, because add here doesn't return anything. We could allow it to like return. How would that work? I built this like queue thing myself, so then and this run. No, I don't think I want to go ahead and implement that. So we're gonna do this a bit more simply. Let's see, this initialize. And we'll make a comment on that. So yes, so we're gonna rather just update the variable. Well, initialized or something. OMG. You know what? I think maybe I have to restart because this is getting ridiculous. And then we're gonna wait that queue, and then we're gonna return initialized. Oh, I was too many open. Oh, interesting. Oh, so if I could just wait, then I would see it. Too many open files. Interesting. Handle on change. Ah, on change. We need to debounce. Ah, nice. So that was the issue. Okay, then I don't think we need to do this because this is just an HTTP call. That I don't understand. Like the queue is really there to ensure that we don't go crazy with the embedder. But on change, watcher, where are you, watcher? And that's the thing, like, so what we're doing is that we're watching the file system. But why is this? Why is this? Oh, wait a minute. Did I add? Wait a minute. Utils. Web assistant folder name. Okay, so it's definitely going crazy. It's because it's writing to the file system, and then it's like just going crazy. So let's see what file path it's actually. FS path. And then it goes and reads that file. It's really to have, you could say that you should start a watcher after you created embeddings, but like technically something could happen during embeddings. So you want to pick that up. And then you could argue maybe the file watcher triggers while it's still queuing the other vector thing, but at least then, yeah, no, file systems watching, being in syncing file systems, OMG. That is some rough stuff. Oh yeah, we need to, where are you, Electron? Oh, but at least we found the issue. It's because of the file system watcher. What do you know? Come on, get away. Electron, force quit. There we go. Let's see. So it's definitely going in there, and oh, interesting. Yeah, these should be undefined, undefined, undefined. So I have a feeling that sometimes, so it's writing the vectors, the embeddings for the code. I have a feeling that it will web assistant code embeddings. Yeah, I have a feeling something bad happens here. Like for some reason, open that workspace folder and it goes into loop. So it reads the file. I think actually event equals remove, and yeah, I didn't check that. That might be the problem. Anyways. Yay! It's working. We even got the Excalibur in there. Okay, great. Let's now go in and write the UI for this. So we, as I said, we're just gonna list the user stories, and I actually have some in the chat here. We have a user stories component, and I guess we could still use that, but I think currently we also have the button, which we don't want. What if I click? Yeah, I'm using the editor store. And I guess I'm calling, yeah, approve user stories. Okay, so we can change this component so that we're passing in the onClick for approval and the onClick for yeah. So we send in the on approve and on update. We pass that in, and then we can reuse this component. It'll say approve, but that's fine. Approve just means start implementing. And then we're going to trigger that. Yes. User story. What's on change? Oh, sorry, that's the user story. Okay, so let's, I think we're going to have like, we have UI components. Yeah, I started using the new, Tailwind has a new set of UI components, but they don't have any examples for them yet. So I'm kind of at a loss. How are we going to do this? You know what? We're just going to move them. We're just going to create new file, user stories, tsx. And then we're going to move them. And then we'll just define user story in the user stories thing. Like that. User stories. So we're not going to have that thing. We are rather going to say on approve, on update, and on approve is just call, and on update would be updated user stories string like that. And then we do on approve. I guess we can do, yeah, let's do that. That's more correct. On update checked user stories map users checked. Oh my god. Text. That's what we're gonna do. And then, okay, let's keep that one. Put it back in the chat panel. Do we use user stories here? No, we're gonna say on update user stories. So we're gonna fix that later. Cool. Where was I? User stories. Yes. So now we can list our user stories. We'll show them as disabled now. Let's see. That's chat, user stories flow, user stories. Export. Maybe I should call this folder disabled on approve. I'm not sure if I should even allow you to. Well, when it's disabled, you cannot really update. You cannot approve either, so it shouldn't be disabled. But it's like in the idea, if you have a set of user stories, do you want to be able to like check and uncheck? Maybe it's a very different experience. Like a list of user stories isn't a list of user stories. Maybe we shouldn't even call it user stories. It's really just a list. Like we can use the same component for the implementation plan. That's the thing. But yeah, though it doesn't really make sense to have like checkboxes and stuff there, because you have to do everything. You know what? We're gonna do this very, very simply. We're gonna say markdown, and then I should really create a markdown component as well. Markdown. Let's see. Let me create. Let's make this relatively proper. What should we call it? I think I'm gonna call it markdown. Markdown children. Children here would be, I guess, a string. And then we're gonna return this actual markdown stuff. We just have to markdown remark. Component. Link renderer. Where did that come from? Oh, was that a custom thing? So let's, yeah. So chat panel is gonna be like just ripped apart here, which is fine. Cool. So now we have our markdown component. So in our user stories flow, yeah, this is just. Oh, sorry. So this is. Let's see if it can find it. Markdown. And then the user stories sidebar, I think we have, do we have access? Did I give access to like the flow? No, these are just the messages. Yeah, this is interesting. It depends on complexity of this UI, but for now, let's just bring it in as a prop, and then it will update whenever like the main workspace state changes. It will pass it in as a prop. So we're gonna say flow, and type is user stories. Oh, sorry, we created our own user stories flow. Oh, did I put it here? We can't put it here. We need to. Yeah, a little bit curious how I'm gonna do this, but for now, let's just do this. So this would be flow user stories. Yeah, so this is where we make like the big check. If flow user stories, we're gonna return markdown, or we're gonna return null for now, but this is gonna be the chat to create a new one. What are you complaining about? Oh yeah, sorry. Map user story. We're just gonna render markdown of the actual thing, and then we're gonna join them with line break. Oh, what did I do? Reading user stories. Oh, sorry. Of course, I'm not passing it in. So flow would be flow, I guess. Yeah, so like the thing is, I would probably do something like this, initial flow state. And then I will prevent like reconciling the full UI every time the workspace state change. Maybe we should do that. Let's make that a pattern. So what we're gonna do is like, we're gonna memoize like the sidebars and the mains, so that it's the store that controls how they act. So that means we can update the workspace state as much as we want, but only like the active flow will actually like cause a render. Like I have a tendency to like prematurely optimize, for sure, but it's also more structured here because and so it looks the same and we consume it the same way and blah blah blah. So we're gonna do the exact same thing for our user story store. And messages, I think the messages should be tied to the actual flow. So we're gonna change that as well. So this thing, oh my god. Const user story store equals use user story store. User story store dot state dot user stories. That's also interesting. No, that's not interesting. Flow, or then we're gonna initial flow. Let's call it props. Initial flow, and this will be the user stories flow. Initial flow states. Oh, is this a problem here as well? Oh. Oh yeah. Current flow. Just copy you over. Oh yeah, this should be user story. Thank you, TypeScript. Yeah, we'll talk about the messages, but let's expose the state, return state of the value. And now we have user stories. Actually, we can just do this. We don't need the full thingy there. Oh my god. Something like that. Yeah, that looked like shit, but it worked. I wonder why it looks so shitty. I think I'm missing like a prose thing. Let's see, markdown. Can I add a class name here? Prose. No. Yeah, there we go. Amazing. So now we can do the implement button. So I'm thinking we're just gonna dive like into the implementation because that's more fun to explore. Like this is just a bunch of UI stuff. And then we're gonna fix the chat after that. But let's put this in a div. Put some nice class names here, like P4. P4 is always good. And then we're gonna have a button. So we're gonna steal the approve button. And we're just gonna shove it in here. Implement. Start implementation. And then we're gonna use the editors API. I should really do editor store. That's a nice thing about this pattern. You can always use the structuring without wondering about like what it's bound to and stuff. So it's not disabled. We're gonna say start implementation and then API dot. I guess we can just say start implementation. We have to implement that. Nice. Cool. So what's going to happen when we click that button is that Electron is going to flip to the implementation flow. It's going to change the current flow to start planning. Start planning implementation. Start planning. So we're going to start planning and move into that planning flow, and we're going to activate it as the current flow. So it should flip the tab. And then we are going to actually send the user stories to some agent that's going to start evaluating the plan. So that's going to be fun. So let's just implement this start planning thing. First, So that would be in, let's do it here. So preload, that's like the script between the actual client app and Electron. This is where we kind of bind. And I was thinking of, like, I'm adding so many methods here. I was thinking to do more of an RPC thing, where you just send like one event, which has like a method, like it's an object with a method and then the params, and then it's like typed. So you would basically just have one way to communicate instead of having all these different events and stuff. It's just horrible. But then you also have the possibility to handle, so you can actually make a call and then wait for the response, which is, I think I'm using that, am I? Like invoke. But I think we could do the same there. It's like, and it's almost like, couldn't just everything be invoke? You just return void. Well, I guess some things are actually events. Yeah, I'm a little bit, but you could do both, right? You could have, like, instead of open workspace, you would have send event, and then you would just have a bunch of events instead of having all these methods. Like, it makes no sense. You know what? We're gonna do that now. We're gonna start that work. Deprecate all of this. So we're gonna do API send event, and then we're gonna have our own typing for this. So we have API message, so we can change this to API event, and that is type. Well, so this would be start. Yeah, so the question is, like, how do you name this? Past tense or start planning? Yeah, so API invocation. Is it with a K? Invocation? Yeah, because invoke is with a K. So that would be, yeah, shouldn't be events, or should we invoke? Like, it doesn't. So this would be an invocation, but there isn't any return value, really. But it's more like you're imperatively starting the planning. Or it needs to be like start planning clicked kind of thing. Yeah, let's just do that for now. Let's just say null. Start planning clicked. So that's what we're going to use in the event. That will be API event. And then we'll just send that event. No biggie. And then on the other side, in the actual API, or in the actual Electron API, we're going to deprecate all, like, we don't need all this stuff. Deprecate all this stuff. So we can just say on event, and we'll have a callback, and the event is the API event void, and then we'll have oh, sorry, a little bit more finicky than that. We can't just pass the event there. It's event type and then event. Oh, wait, sorry, not event type, event. And we can call it like API event. And then we'll say on API event. Not quite sure. Oh, does this actually? Oh yeah, sorry, args. And then, oh come on, I have one with an actual payload, don't I? Yeah, it's kind of annoying. So we're gonna call it API event, listener. Event here is the actual API event, and then event. We're all happy. Cool. So let's just start doing that now. We're in the workspace. We're rather gonna have like a single thing on event, and then we have an event, and then we can just switch on that event type. And if it start planning clicked, we're gonna do our thing. Cool. So when we start planning, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say this dot state equals current flow is, oh, we need to introduce the flow first. So now we have export type planning flow type planning, and we're gonna pass it to user stories. I think no. I think we're just gonna say plan, which is the same. It's kind of like user stories. And then we're gonna say current flow is planning flows. Oh yeah, we're just gonna say planning, and then oh, sorry. We're just gonna flip this, and then we're gonna, well, first of all, yeah, there's gonna be a type issue thing here. User stories equals this dot flow, current flow type equals, oh wait, we don't need that, of course. This flows, state flows, user stories. So basically, if there aren't any user stories there, I'm not sure, wasn't that typed to null? Anyways, we don't care about that. So here are our user stories that we're going to pass into our new flow. So now we have to think about how we're going to deal with the messages. So as I said, I think the messages should be on the type. So we have like chat message here, but we now have type of request for change. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this chat message into the type of chat messages that are for request for change. But now I'm calling it request for change. I'm calling it user stories. I'm calling it idea. But it's the, I think we need to call it user stories chat message. And then we're gonna have planning chat message. It's named the same as the actual flow type. And then we're gonna have planning. So let's just add quickly agent flows, new file planning ts, and export const planning, which is like create flow agents flow options. Yeah, and there is no initial agent, but at least we have it there now. And then we can import that one. And then what we're gonna do is stories chat message is that in user stories we're just gonna have messages, and user stories chat message. And then we're gonna do the same for planning flow. We're gonna have messages, and that's gonna be planning chat message. Nice. And so I guess we need to extend a little bit here. User stories messages is empty, and we also need our planning now. Type planning messages is empty, and our plan is null. Yeah, so later we're gonna actually pass in here if there's an existing plan, but we don't care about that now. Let's remove some of the things. Isn't there like a shortcut for removing all unused? No. Nice. Let's see. Now we have the messages there. And now we just, yeah, so now we have this thing called agents flow. And currently we have the flows in here as like an object. But and I think they need to be there because again, you should be able to like flip between the flows. So we need to keep the state a message state. So I think we just need to add planning here. The thing is, so current flow would be so so what I think maybe we should do is I think, can we do like it should be key of this thing. The thing is, I want to create the flow. Oh shit, I have to pick up our daughter from school. I forgot. Okay. I have to do that, so I'll stop the stream. But I'll be streaming again tomorrow morning, prepping for the demo. I have the day tomorrow as well. So I will be coding a bit more on this, and I will get this stuff running. And then tomorrow we can actually play around with starting the implementation and evaluating the agents and see if they actually perform the way we hope they do. That's going to be interesting. Okay, thanks for following along. See you later.